The night Ibrahim Traoré chose freedom over foreign control. Ibrahim Traoré was told he had only hours left to live. His presidential palace was surrounded and a coup was underway. That's when French military commanders called with an urgent offer: instant protection, full suppression of the uprising, and guaranteed security. But hidden in the fine print was something far more dangerous: lifelong dependency. Accepting would turn Traoré into a puppet of Paris. Here's how the most perilous night of Traoré's presidency became the ultimate test of his independence. Inside the presidential palace in Ouagadougou, tension gripped every room. Urgent reports arrived from all directions. At 2:47 a.m., Defense Minister Kabore burst into the crisis room. His uniform was soaked in sweat, and his voice trembled as he spoke. "Mr. President, Colonel Damiba's forces have seized the main barracks. They're moving toward the palace. We have less than 6 hours." Through the bulletproof windows, Traoré watched distant tracer fire. Loyal guards were scrambling into defensive positions. The bitter smell of gunpowder crept in through the ventilation. His throat felt like sand. "What about reinforcements from the 2nd Battalion?" Traoré asked, though he already feared the answer. "Compromised, sir," Kabore replied. "Damiba bought them off, with French help. We're on our own." At 3:15 a.m., the secure satellite phone rang sharply. The caller? General Laurent Michon, head of France's Special Operations Command. "Mr. President," he said in a firm, fatherly tone, "we're aware of your situation. France is ready to intervene immediately." Traoré froze. If the French knew this much, either they had seen it coming or had a hand in it. "What kind of support?" Traoré asked. "Full military intervention," the general replied. 2,000 elite paratroopers from Ivory Coast, attack helicopters, armored vehicles. We can have boots on the ground in Ouagadougou within 4 hours to crush the coup. It was an impressive offer. On the surface, the same French forces that had intervened in Mali, Chad, and the Central African Republic, now ready to save Burkina Faso. But Traoré had been a teacher before politics. He knew how to read between the lines. "We'll talk terms once you're safe," the general added. But Traoré knew safety had a price. Inside the war room, maps marked in red showed the rebels' progress. Coffee sat untouched. Stress gripped every face. Intelligence Chief Ouedraogo broke the silence. "Sir, intercepted communications confirm Damiba is being advised by French military officers. This isn't a homegrown rebellion. It's a foreign-engineered regime change." Foreign Minister Sawadogo leaned in, voice desperate. "If both sides have French backing, then maybe accepting their help is our only option. Survive first, negotiate later." But Traoré kept studying the intelligence, praying for clarity. At 4:23 a.m., the satellite phone rang again. General Michon's tone was harder now. "Mr. President, the rebels are advancing faster than expected. We need immediate approval for deployment. Will your forces operate under Burkina command?" Traoré asked. A long pause. "In these situations," the general said carefully, "command structures must be integrated. Our forces will coordinate closely with yours." "For how long?" Traoré pressed. "As long as it takes to ensure stability." Traoré felt his fears confirmed. This wasn't an offer of help. It was an offer of control. "I need 1 hour to consult with my cabinet," he said. "Every minute you delay increases the danger," the general warned. Then at 4:45 a.m., the truth came out. "Sir," Intelligence Chief Ouedraogo said, holding decoded intercepts, "we've found something." The documents revealed French officers had been in direct communication with Damiba. The timing of the coup was orchestrated. Messages read, "The operation proceeds as planned. The target will request support within 6 hours. Maintain pressure. Minimize casualties until intervention is authorized. The room fell silent. They created the crisis, Traoré whispered, to make their intervention seem like salvation. Defense Minister Kabore nodded grimly. Whether Damiba wins or the French come in, we lose our sovereignty. Then, at 5:12 a.m., the phone rang again. General Michon was no longer hiding his frustration. Final chance, Mr. President. Our forces are ready. Say the word. This time, Traoré didn't hesitate. I have a counter-proposal, he said calmly. Withdraw your support from Damiba. Then we can talk as equals. A heavy silence followed. You're accusing us of conspiracy theories while rebels close in, Michon said coldly. I'm stating facts. We intercepted your communications. The general's tone turned threatening. You're condemning yourself and everyone in that palace to death for pride. But Traoré stood firm. General Michon, Burkina Faso declines France's generous protection. We will not trade our freedom for your helicopters. The line went dead, and then something remarkable happened. Within 30 minutes, rebel movements faltered. Confusion swept Damiba's command. Intercepts showed French logistical support had abruptly vanished. Sir, a soldier reported in disbelief, the 4th Battalion is advancing. Rebel forces are retreating. By sunrise, Colonel Damiba was in custody. His French advisors had vanished. The coup collapsed, and within days the world knew why. Intercepts between French command and rebel leaders leaked across global media. The evidence was overwhelming. France had staged crises to justify interventions in Burkina Faso, Mali, Chad, and beyond. Outrage spread across Africa. Within weeks, the African Union held emergency sessions. Leaders revealed they too had received rescue offers during times of political instability. 6 months later, the African Crisis Response Compact was formed, a continental defense initiative built on African cooperation, not foreign interference. 1 year later, speaking at the African Union, President Traoré recalled that terrifying night. When France offered to save my life, what they truly offered was permanent dependency disguised as temporary rescue. Real security cannot come from those who benefit from our instability. Thunderous applause filled the hall. That night, Traoré had chosen dignity over dependency, and in doing so, he awakened a continent to the true cost of borrowed safety.